Well, it's the morning after a successful tune day on the S14, but I think this is going to be a whole complete new video. So welcome. In today's episode, we are going to be putting the dog box in the JZX because I finally got the parts I need. All this is mostly for the trailer, so all the electrical stuff, but in here is the shifter for the dog box. So it's time to get the dog box in, and then I can measure the tail shaft and get that ordered, and I can also start working out if we need to in fabrication to make that shifter come out where it needs to come out. So anyway, let's jump straight into it. Here it all is. Got the T101 4-speed dog box, got the adapter to go to a J3 bell housing, flywheel, tilt and twin plate clutch, and the new long shifter with the linkages. That was so hard to get. This was the hardest piece. Such a cool story of how I got this and this. I met an absolute legend, Russell, in Japan. His partner was doing the sideways experience, and he is from New Zealand. He drove in D1NZ, really great driver. Anyway, he's an amazing fabricator, awesome machinist. He hooked me up with all this stuff with the clutch, with that adapter. He actually has moved to Japan and is living there and doing J2, FD J2, and in his first round of FD J2 he podiumed. So, you know, how sick is that? I'd love to go over and support him on time. Anyway, he helped me out with all this, so what I need to do is I need to go get some hardware for bolting these together and this. Then I can put that, mock it up into the car, and I can work out, I assume this is definitely not going to work, but I can see if I can modify that cross member, and then once that's in I can measure the tail shaft, and that's really the main thing that I need to do first. I might muck around with putting this on, but I need to get the tail shaft measured. So yeah, I'm going to work out what hardware I need, sort that out, and we'll come back in just a moment. So I've got it in there, fits great. I'm only going to have to pretty much just clearance it out a little bit here, because this is where the shifter linkages go, and I'll have to do something there, but that's not that big of a deal. Now I'm just working out the shaft angle, so I've zeroed off that, and then I can get this to wherever I want basically, because I can lift it up and down. I think I need to get it to about 1 to 1.5 degrees off that one. You don't want it straight, I know that for sure. So just talking to Russell, who hooked me up with all this stuff, to find out exactly what the best way to do it is. But I'll set that, I'll make the gearbox cross member, then I can pull it all out, bolt the shifter on, clearance the tunnel, and order the tail shaft, and it's pretty well done. I've got to just get the throw out stuff set up. That might take a little bit of effort actually, so keep on cracking. Now I've got it all tacked together, just a bit of angle, picking up the 3 bolts this time, and then some RHS across, grabbing this bush, and then I put this brace in. So I'll take that out and TIG weld it all up now, and it should be sweet. So this is extremely hot, but I've done a gearbox cross member now, all TIG welded up. That will be sweet, so I'll let that cool off, give it a bit of paint, chuck that in, and I'll just make sure it fits. And I'll pull the gearbox out and bolt on the shifter and see how we're looking. Do a bit of hitting in there, and there she is, all in underneath the last point still, nice and solid, perfect. Alright, now pull it all back out and start bashing some stuff. Got the shifter bolted on, looking pretty mean. Now I've got to work out which linkage goes to which one, and once I've done that I'm going to seal this up, because I've had this off to look, and then I've got to adjust the linkages. There's a few videos how to do that, and I use this pin to get it in the right spot. Oh, it's coming together. She looks pretty mean. Pretty well got the linkage sorted. So I'm going to seal this up. So there you go, there's the dog box. These are the sliders. These are the dogs.
I'll silicone this up and put it back together for good, and I can get that properly tuned in, and it's ready to go in the car basically. I think I might have a problem. I reckon he's going to hit, because these pins here, they were just touching, so I thought I could knock it out enough, but it actually sits out even further on them, so I don't reckon I'll hit enough. Just gave him a little bash. Definitely can move it over, but I don't reckon it'll be enough. I reckon I'm going to chop it out, box rack section. Oh, bummer. I'm going to bed, but she's pretty much ready to go back in. Sealed this up, got these all to the right length. I think she's pretty solid now, so tomorrow maybe, I'm not sure, see how I go. Put it back in, see what it's hitting or will hit, do some chopping, do some bashing, and yeah, get this thing properly running. So I set it up in there as far as I could get it, but I'm going to have to cut heaps out. The shifter's right here, so I'm going to have to cut down around this, which is basically the floor, and then I'll come down here. The shifter will sit up in there, and then I'm just going to cut a channel through here for the linkages. I might probably end up cutting all that out, but I'll just cut minimum to get it in there and then work out what I want to do. All right, we've got it through. It's still just touching, so I'm going to have to cut a bit more out, and I definitely want this way, and probably nowhere near as far back. It needs to be about there, so I can almost just come up and dog leg it, I reckon. But yeah, she's in. There's a lot of boxing that needs to be done. Well, it fits, as you've seen. Just cut some more out. I think that's all I need to cut, but that's a big hole. That's a big hole. The linkages are all in there, and the shifter's in there. Oh man, what have I done? Right, flywheel. Haven't had her open yet. See what this looks like. This is very hard to do with one hand. Ta-da! Here is the new flywheel for the tilt and clutch. Clean her off and put her on. Flywheel and bearing installed. Now work out clutch. I'll give it a good brake clean and put this on. But got the clutch installed, went and got a torque wrench, went low enough to torque that up, so that's sweet. So now I have to work out the distance from here to these fingers so that I can work out how far I need to space this out. So I've got these little spacers there that slip in behind this. I need to have about a 5mm gap between there and the clutch fingers. Just having a bit of a clean up because I'm going to bring that in because I hit a bit of a stalemate. I needed a few more of these, but it sounds like Disco Dave. Of course, he'd have some. He's on the other side of the world, literally. Messaged me, says, yep, got some, go over my shed and get them. So, heading over now. I have the final puzzle piece to put in the dog box in there, and it is the tail shaft. I ended up trying to get it made locally, and it didn't work out. So I sent the measurements away to a guy in the Gold Coast, believe it or not, who's made me a few before, and he turns them around quick. So anyway, let's get this out and hopefully it fits. It should, and put some oil in the gearbox and we can start it for the very first time. Just like that, we have a tail shaft with a new dog box. I'm telling you right now, if you have a Mark Mundy in your life, you're a lucky person. This dude, legend. Just getting stuff done while I'm not here. Look at him go. Look at him go. This is the tunnel for the JZX, because I may have made a slight mess, and and you would have seen this. And I just sent Mark a message, and I'm like, hey, you're a sheedy. There's this big hole. Do you reckon you can fix that? And look at him go, making it work perfectly. We'll put a little window in there so we can get to the bits. He's the man. You're the man. Right, battery's back in, gearbox oil. I'll start it first and just let it run. This car hasn't run for a long time. And then we'll try the gearbox. Right, so first time moving it under its own power in quite a while actually.